What is a supply and confidence agreement, and how does it differ from a coalition government? A supply and confidence agreement is an arrangement between political parties where a smaller party agrees to support the government on two critical types of votes: confidence and supply. Confidence votes typically occur on key issues, like the government's ability to govern, while supply votes are primarily about approving the budget. The agreement is not about sharing power, as you might see in a coalition, but rather ensuring the government can remain in office without facing a loss of confidence or failing to pass a budget, which could trigger an election. In Canadian federal politics, this type of agreement has only happened once, and that was relatively recently between the Liberal Party, led by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and the New Democratic Party, NDP, led by Jagmeet Singh, which was announced in March 2022. The agreement was designed to keep the Liberal minority government in power until 2025, preventing it from falling on confidence or budgetary matters. While not a formal coalition, it gave the Liberals some breathing room to push through their agenda without the constant threat of being toppled by opposition parties. However, as of now, the Supply and Confidence Agreement is no longer active. The NDP withdrew its explicit support, citing concerns over the Liberal government's handling of various issues, including housing affordability and healthcare funding. This means the Liberals are back to having to negotiate their survival on a case-by-case basis in the House of Commons, rather than having a guaranteed partner in the NDP. So, how does this differ from a coalition government? A coalition is a more formal and integrated partnership between political parties. In a coalition, multiple parties agree to govern together, sharing power and responsibilities. Ministers from the smaller coalition party may be appointed to cabinet, and both parties have a say in shaping the government's legislative agenda. A coalition government often means both parties have agreed on a joint platform of policies, and they work together more closely throughout the term. For instance, in a coalition government, the smaller party would likely hold significant influence in decision-making beyond just key votes. They would sit in the inner circle of power, shaping legislation across various sectors. In contrast, a supply and confidence agreement doesn't give the smaller party that level of control or influence. The smaller party may secure specific policy concessions, like the NDP did with dental care and pharmacare, but they don't sit in cabinet or shape the broader legislative agenda the way they would in a coalition. Another key difference is that a coalition government often signals a more permanent partnership for the term of parliament, whereas a supply and confidence agreement is much more limited in scope and can be ended at any time, as we've seen recently. The NDP had no formal obligation to maintain their support for the Liberals if they believed their policy goals were not being met, and once that support ended, so did the agreement. In short, a supply and confidence agreement is a looser arrangement than a coalition government. It provides a minority government with stability on key votes without the smaller party formally joining the government. It's happened only once at the federal level in Canada and is no longer in effect, marking a significant difference from a coalition, where parties share power more deeply and for a longer duration.